Oh, good morning, everybody. And thank you for being here. And if you're in the chat, drop a line, say hi, say good morning, or good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you're at. And let's thank everybody that's picked up some stuff. I'm really appreciative of people that have pre ordered our brand new Color 4 shell cordovan belts. And that's something that we've been working on for years. So it's good to finally see it. And a bunch of other people. There's some people that picked up some made to order stuff, and then I've got a table of products to look at of things that have been ordered that we still need to polish and finish up. And I see you in the chat, Matt. Oh, almost evening. Yeah, it's crazy. It's 9 in the morning here. Funny side story. I've been a bass guitar player and a string bass, like upright bass player for years. Went to school for it. And today, in a couple hours, I have my first lesson in 20 years. And actually, the guy that's teaching me a lesson is on tour in the UK right now. So I'll be getting a guitar lesson for the first time in 20 years across the world, which was an unheard of concept when I last had a lesson 20 years ago. So it was pretty crazy. All right. I also figured out why my audio wasn't working before. I think I fixed it now. So let me know if things are sounding a little bit better than they had in the past. Yesterday was good though. All right. Oh, awesome to see you got your Fox. I'll check out chat in a minute. Let's take a. I want to thank everybody that's picked up some stuff. So, if your name is listed now, I've got a pre-order for a belt or a made-to-order, or we're about to look at your stuff that we're going to ship today. So, thank you so much to Eric, Isabel, Cooper, Eugene, Iman, Troy, Ronald, Sean, Francisco, David, Russell, Brian, Benjamin, Nick, Ted, Will, Justin, Anthony, John, Michael, Jason, Pedro, John, David, Kevin, Michael S., Mattern, Russell, Daniel, David, James, Jerry, Arian, Jacob, John, and Joey. Thank you guys so much. Now let's go over, let's go take a look at what's on the special table before I go do my bass lesson. I'm really excited to learn some stuff. Okay. Let's see if I can get this set up. Right, here's the table. We're gonna look at some belts, some wallets, some valet trays. Boom. Okay, first up, let's start with valet trays. This is a really, really nice piece of natural chrome excel. Somebody commented on a video that I did about chrome excel where I said you can see how nice it feels, and that's exactly how I feel about this chrome excel. It's super rich and full of waxes, oils, and greases. This is the natural chrome excel, and you'll notice where the leather's starting to flex, that color is much lighter on the undertones and a little bit darker on the surface. You can rub the surface and make it darken back up. It's sort of like a fun parlor trick. So we got a natural chrome excel valet tray going out today. Somebody picked up a couple black chrome excel valet trays. These happen to be mildite black, which are a little bit more, they're less seen. And the tannery can make them, but not a lot of people are ordering mildite black chrome excel. So if I want it, I have to order a ton of mildite black. We've got a Capone money clip in natural shell cordovan. This one still needs to get polished up, and the edges need to get a little bit more shiny. They've been slightly started on, but this will get a little bit more glassy and a little bit more like a finished piece of wood once we do our burnishing process. And then we got to put a money clip inside of there. Another natural piece is a lighter sheath. We've got, I think somebody pre-ordered a belt in the color 4 shell along with this lighter sheath. And I figured we'll just send the lighter sheath out today so he doesn't have to wait for a month or two to get the belt. Also, sticking with natural shell, check out this huge piece of natural shell cordovan. This is our passport holder in the natural shell cordovan. That still needs to have all the polishing on the edges and the leather be performed. And then we've got a couple English hand pieces. Johnny the Fox, check out the striations on this one. Really dramatic texture on this specific piece. And then we've got more English tan on the inside. I love that clean look, and we have a mildly stained edge. It's very subtle staining on the English tan Dublin. And my favorite wallet that we've been doing, Bugs Moran Also in the English tan Dublin, really amazing leather, really great color. Here's a brown cypress, which I'd like to get to, but let me finish with the English tan. Somebody picked up an Apple Watch band in English tan Dublin. I think this was made to order because we've been sold out. So on that note, if there's something that you want that's on the site that is shown as sold out, just send us a message and we can make one for you or reserve the next available one for you. So we have an Apple Watch band in English tan Dublin, back to the brown cypress. Really amazing brown color. I think a lot of people have been waiting for this kind of color in a leather that is similar to the Dublin, and that's exactly what the brown cypress is. I find the cypress to have less stretch than the Dublin, but it also has a flatter grain because of the method that was used to dry it. It tends to be a little bit more dense and compact when compared to the Dublin. So I actually really like it. I like both of the leathers. And then the cypress tends to have a little bit less of those wrinkles to it. It's a really good leather. And we've got a couple foxes in black Dublin with the black horsehide interiors. And for me, I love a blacked out look. We also have that black stained edge on this, and then we wax and burnish it. Gives it a really sleek look. And the last piece before we get to the belts is color 8 Trill Cordovan on the Apple Watch band. And this is the same issue as the first Apple Watch. I believe this was, one of these was sold out and we had to have this made to order. So that will be shipping out today, we hope. And I see the chat. I'll check out the chat in a minute. We have a couple belts going out. Black Chrome XL. You'll notice the difference with this one. See how this color is a little bit lighter and more tan, and the cross section is also that natural color. It's very different than the black Chrome XL here. So this is what I'm talking about, mill dyed or drum dyed. So mill dyed black has black all through the cross section and on the back, where the natural back stuff does not. So we got a black Chrome XL belt. I think these were also ordered alongside a shell belt, but we're just gonna send these today so they don't have to wait. And a brown Chrome XL belt that's gonna be shipping out. Let me show you also, so you can see what I'm talking about with the, this is natural Chrome XL. The backside of the natural Chrome XL is the same color as the backside of this black, because it's, again, not mill dyed. All right, let me flip it around. There's one thing I want to tease for tomorrow that I've been working on. Maybe I'll even light it up. I'll give you a first appearance here of a new product. I think it's the first of its type. Boom. This is the Royal Blue Cypress on the Johnny the Fox. So we've got our Cypress event hopefully coming tomorrow. I still have to make that video, but even if I don't get the video up, I'll be able to put up these products as available, and it's a really nice blue shade. You can see how it's set up for product photos here. All right, let's take a couple of minutes and answer some questions. I'm a little bit of a rushed today. But let me go back through the chat and see what you guys are talking about. Oh man, so many people are here. Okay. Oh, Matt's here, Kwan's here, It's Renners is here, Jaren's here. Mustafa got his fox last week. That's awesome. I hope you like it. Oyster, I'm glad the sound's better. I think, I'll spoil what I think happened. I had this iPhone, I'm on an iPhone right now, and I also had an iPad because I wanted to monitor what this camera was seeing when I flipped it around. And I think the audio was coming through the iPad somehow into the stream. So I just don't have the iPad now, and hopefully things look framed up nicely. Yeah, I've been playing, so Matt, I still play bass, I still play shows, I'm still record music. I've been playing bass guitar for 20 years, even with, or more than 20 years. So in the 20 years that I haven't had a lesson, I've actually been more prolific than when I was taking lessons. And in fact, the reason I was inspired to take another lesson is because I've been teaching somebody bass guitar lessons. And I figured I'd like to see what it's like to be on the receiving end of these lessons and also inspire me to do even more. So I've been playing music. I've never stopped since I was a kid. Started with piano, I played trombone, and then, went to college and played in orchestras and jazz bands, and meanwhile I've been playing like heavy metal at the same time. Dia's here. Good to see you. Familiar faces. Berto's here. Ben D says, you mentioned a few weeks ago on a stream that reverse shell eventually develops a shine or a sheen. I recently won a reverse epic dye splatter Fat Herbie, and I'm noticing it. Nice. Yeah. And then he's asking, why does this occur? The oil's coming out of the reverse side. Is it just the oils coming out of the reverse side like the new shell normally does? So the shell cordovan, if I had a piece here, I do not. That's a really good question with a very straightforward answer. So the cordovans actually like the way they get down to that shiny, smooth surface is actually on the back side of the leather. So let me dump out my valet tray here. This is the grain side of my Chrome Excel valet tray, and this is the flesh side on the inside. Now, this is confusing, but bear with me. When they take the horse butt to produce the shell cordovan, they actually shave to get down to that dense fiber layer from this side, from the flesh side, the reverse side, which means that the other side, the reverse side of the shell, is actually the grain side. So if you think about it like that, the reverse side of the shell cordovan, when you got your epic reverse, is actually more like the grain side of a really nice pit tan veg leather. The other thing I've noticed about patina, if you really want to know a lot more about patina, Nick Horween and I did a podcast about patina. Check it out on Full Grain Podcast. I put up all the episodes for the podcast on YouTube recently, but you can also find it. Like, I listen to Spotify for my podcast. You can find it everywhere. But look for the episode called Patina. I think it's around episode 10-ish or something like that. But what's happening with the patina is you'll see it more dramatically in a lighter color. So something like reverse color 8 is almost like a natural color with some splatter on it. You're gonna get more of that dramatic patina effect on a lighter shade like that. And the reason it's happening is because of oxidation and then materials getting put into there by accident. So like dust will get embedded slightly. The waxes do start to like get embedded in there. Even something like water tends to give a nice patina effect. So it's just a slow accumulation of stuff that happens in the leather. I had always thought that veg tan leather patina is better than chrome tan leather or even combination tan leather. And Nick sort of quickly changed my mind on that by giving an example of a baseball glove that is a full chrome leather. And the baseball gloves, you may have seen, any baseball glove gets a really great patina. So it doesn't necessarily have to have veg, but I do think there's something to the tree barks in a veg tan leather that tend to give it a more dramatic patina. That's typical for me, my long way of explaining a simple question. Good question, Ben. Regarding the Apple Watch band, could the end user change the buckle, replace it for a butterfly clasp? So I'm wearing mine. I believe the buckle width is 22 millimeters. This buckle here. So yeah, if you have, this is, what do they call this? It's like a wider pin. So if you have a buckle that has this size pin and it's 22 millimeters for the width, you could replace it. I haven't done that, but yeah, you could. If you want to hear, Dia's asking about my music. I made a solo album like 10 years ago. I have a solo project called Asleep in the Stars, and it's progressive metal and it's instrumental. I wrote the whole thing because I wanted to learn guitar. So that album was me teaching myself how to play guitar. And I bought an 8-string guitar for some reason to learn on. So it's an 8-string guitar that I learned how to play and wrote a bunch of songs. And then had a buddy of mine, his name's Brian, do some synths on it. And I really am proud of my first solo album called Stasis. And then I did like an EP later. That's called oh my God, what is it called? I know it's called Book One because I was gonna do a bunch of them, a bunch of EPs, but then I joined another band. Asleep in the Stars. I'm on Bandcamp. Looks like I didn't put the second EP on Bandcamp, but it's on Spotify. Just listen to it for free. In fact, let me look up Spotify. What's it called? I can't believe I don't remember. I'm going to see it and then get mad. Okay. Polygraphia. It's about embedded codes and like deciphering messages. Steganography is like another thing I was kind of curious about. So I released an EP in 2017. Polygraphia, book 1. I was going to make a bunch of books. But my band that I've been participating in now is much more successful. And the band's called Outrun the Sunlight, which is also instrumental metal. And I stopped doing my solo stuff when I joined that band because I was a fan of the band and it's like the same kind of vibe. So I put all my efforts into that. Oh, you play synth now? Dude, you would love, Dia, you would really like my stuff. It's synth heavy, especially Asleep in the Stars. Outrun the Sunlight's a little less synthy, but the newest, we're releasing a new thing soon that's a little synthier. Ben D says, I have a few shell belts that I believe use Horween shell from Allen Edmonds. After a few years of wear, the color finish has worn away, feels rough. Is there a way to make it more like new? You've tried Venetian shoe cream and moderate brushing. It hasn't helped much. Ben, send me a photo to phil@ashlandleather.com and just remind me of what your question was. I know that some places, and the reason I say that is because it could be a couple things. I know that some shoemakers in particular, so if it's from Allen Edmonds, it's possible that they're spraying a finish layer over the top of the shell that might be coming off and separating from the cordovan below. But if it's feeling rough, it sounds more like it might just be a rough piece of shell, which is also possible. You can fill in, which it sounds like you've tried, you can fill in the shell a slight amount with something like Venetian shoe cream. And I would actually take something like a spoon and just a little bit of water. So get the leather slightly wet. You don't have to soak it, but get it slightly wet and take the backside of a spoon and rub it in the direction that the abrasion, the opposite direction of the abrasion. Or if it's just like generally rough feeling, you can still try the same thing. Fill it in with just a little bit of water and the backside of the spoon. Unfortunately, I don't think you're ever gonna get it to be completely smooth if it's feeling fibrous. But you can kind of hide it a little bit. And then if that doesn't work, don't buy this from me, but we sell the cordovan cream from Saphir that has more waxes in it than the Venetian cream that might give you a little bit more fill, but I don't think it's gonna make a huge difference if the Venetian cream doesn't give you any improvement. Matt says, regarding the Cypress, wait, I lost my chat, I'm so sorry. Oh my God, nothing's working. Oh no. Let me refresh this page. Hold on, I can't see the chat. My page is unresponsive. I guess I'll just look it on here. Oh my God, where's the chat? Everything's broken. You prefer Venetian. Okay, Matt says, my question is answered. Cypress is a leather or tanning procedure rather than a color. Cypress, the word that you're looking for is a tannage. And I'll break that down quickly. Actually, you asked a different question here. Regarding Cypress, the timing is probably no coincidence since Nick has also released a boot in Cypress, but it's charcoal black. So I reckon my question is answered. Cypress is a leather tanning procedure rather than a color. That's correct, Matt. So the word is retannage, or just tannage for short. The way that leather is produced is there's actually two general stages of tanning. The first one is either chrome tanning or veg tanning, aldehyde tannage, formaldehyde tanning. You can tan, but that first tanning stage is about pulling out the oils and fats in the skin that are going to rot and deteriorate. The second step of tanning is about replacing those fats back into the skin to make it more supple or to give it more specific characteristics that either smell good or they look really good or they feel really good. So the retannage, it would be called cypress. I'm glad you liked the episode on patina. I'm glad people seem to really like the podcast that we're doing, which is exciting because it's extra work. So I guess that makes sense of why the reverse shell on the inside isn't getting as shiny as quickly. It's picking up less stuff. You know, and also, so the stuff that touches the leather, Ben, also needs like a little bit of friction, I've noticed. So on the inside of a wallet, it's not getting polished by your pant pocket all day. It's actually rubbing against the leather itself. I actually notice on the inside of wallets, they tend to get a little bit more dull because of dirt in your pocket just sits there and it gets stuck. But on the outside of the wallet, your pants are just polishing it constantly all day. It gets really nice. So it needs a little bit of action also. Oh, Dia, thanks for supporting my little band too. That's cool. TD says, hey, Phil, when should I use Tanner's Blend versus Venetian Shoe Cream? This is a really good question. I'm going to have to wrap it up because I got to go to my lesson. Tanner's Blend is sort of like that retanning process I just mentioned. It's a conditioner. So think of using Tanner's Blend like when you wash your hair. So if you take soap and wash your hair, you're probably going to use a conditioner afterwards. Otherwise your hair is just not as nourished as it was before the soap. And it's the same thing on footwear or any other leather good. If you apply a little bit of soaps or surfactants to the leather, you're going to pull out the nourishing oils, and we need to replace them. Tanner's Blend's really good for that. You also don't necessarily need to wash it before using Tanner's Blend. I had a friend this week with some old boat shoes that he really beat up and abused, and those old boat shoes, I just put a little bit of Venetian cream on it. It really restored the look. So if the leather's looking dried out and sort of chapped, the Tanner's Blend is a little bit more of an aggressive conditioner, where the Venetian cream tends to be a little bit more of an appearance product. It will give you a little bit more luster because it has waxes in it, where the Tanner's Blend is just, it's basically just lanolin. BFET says, sorry I'm late to the party. My size sold out before. Hey, BFET, send us an email. We had to limit the quantities, and it's hard to forecast what sizes people are going to want. We had to limit the quantities because we don't have enough leather to make an infinite amount of belts, but it's possible I can make you something. So if you want to email info@ashlandleather.com, you can email me, phil@ashlandleather.com. I might be a little slower to respond, but I will see what we can do. I would love to get you a shell belt. Ryan says, I just wanted to say I'm obsessed with your stuff and love how engaged you are in here in socials. Oh, great to hear it, Matt. Ryan, I was gonna say great to hear it, man. Thanks, Ryan. It's a little extra effort to do this, but it's the thing I like most. So you'll notice I'm doing this every day. I do the podcast. I make videos for the channel. I take all the product photos. I love making stuff and creating new things. And then I don't get to do it if I don't have you guys here to support us. So I really appreciate this time that I can spend with you. Ben D, all my Amaretto Fat Herbie on the inside honestly is kind of nasty. He's gotten matte and dirty despite my daily life being pretty not rugged. Yeah, first step there, Ben, is to brush off the dust. So you can use a horsehair brush, soft cloth. You might even want to take a little soap and water to it. I know it sounds kind of scary on a piece of shell, but you want to get the dust off of there. And then once you remove all the dirt, you're going to want to put some waxes on there to give it a little bit more luster. But on the inside of a wallet, it's going to always come back to that because it's just rubbing against itself. Remember, on that razor strop in yesterday's video, they actually use the shell to sharpen knives. So it's abrasive. So when the shell touches against itself on the inside of that wallet, you're rubbing two pieces of sandpaper together essentially, and it's going to scratch, especially if there's like little bits of dirt on there. And you'll see it happen where the raised letters and numbers of your credit cards are. That will push up the leather and will make it scuff more there. So one easy thing to do is just flip your cards backwards so there's nothing to press the leather up. Good tangent there. Hey Isaiah, good to see you guys. And I'm gonna have to head out. I appreciate you guys so much. Look forward to the Cypress event tomorrow. The wallets look really good and that leather's beautiful. Super, super resilient. So appreciate you guys being here. I'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you later.